Welcome back, guys, to the Better's Edge. I am here, your host, Jake, with another episode. Tonight, I'm going to break down the Dallas Cowboys at the Las Vegas Raiders. But before we get into it, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Real briefly, let's recap the weekend. Big, easy winner on Friday night with Oregon. Saturday, another winning Saturday. As I mentioned, I have yet to have a losing Saturday on this channel. And on Sunday, another winning Sunday. 3 days in a row, winner, winner, winner. Haven't had a losing Sunday on this channel either. I want to talk about last night's game very, very briefly, guys. I saw a ton of people liking the Detroit Lions, guys. I talked about it in my game preview, Lions at Eagles. The Eagles was my best bet on the entire card for the whole weekend. And I talked to you guys about it during the preview. The reason why, I said in order for teams to go into the link and to beat this Eagles team, you have to play A-plus football offensively, defensively, situationally, and the head coach has to have an A-plus performance. We didn't see anything close to an A-plus performance yesterday from the Detroit Lions. I told you guys there was no way the Lions were going to put in an A-plus performance last night. I see why people are reluctant to back this Eagles side. I get it. It's ugly football. Offensively, they're lacking a lot. They're not explosive. They're not running the ball as well as they were running last season. And you're not getting anywhere near the production from any of the star players, whether it's Jalen Hurts dropping back in passing, whether it's Jalen Hurts in the run game. Even yesterday, we saw them struggle situationally, offensively. But like I talked about in my previews, guys, you guys have to get away from falling in love with flashes in the pan that don't translate. What do I mean by that? This Detroit Lions team is an explosive offense. And don't get me wrong, it's a damn good football team. And they played extremely well defensively last night. But this is not a team, especially in the conditions that we had last night, where Jared Goff and that offense was going to travel. And I knew going into this game, we were going to see an Eagles defense perform. I thought we would get a better Eagles performance offensively, but I knew at the end of the day, there was no way that this Lions team, the way that they're constructed, was going to come into Philadelphia and win that game outright, or better yet, even keep it within 1 or 2 points. Guys, you have to understand what wins in the National Football League. The Philadelphia Eagles do not beat themselves. You got to come in there and you got to give them a knockout punch to win that game. And the Detroit Lions, I knew prior to the game, just didn't have that at their disposal. It was an easy victory last night backing the Philadelphia Eagles, and that was the largest wager in the NFL I've made this entire season. Moving on to tonight, guys, there is a ton to go over in this game. We have the Dallas Cowboys on the road laying 3.5 points at the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to give you guys a quick analysis between these two teams. I'm going to give you my opinion on this game, and I'm going to give you 2 different ways that you can play this game. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to play it. I like both of them equally, but I'm leaning slightly towards one play over the other. As I mentioned, you have the Cowboys laying 3.5 points in this spot. A lot of people may not realize it, but this is a Cowboys team right now, in my opinion, where there are some question marks on what type of performance we're going to get from them tonight. Why do I say that? First of all, let's start with the tragedy. You had Marshawn Kneyland roughly 2 weeks ago, probably a little bit less, 10 days, whatever the case is, who passed away. This is a football team right now that's dealing with tragedy. You don't know how individual players and how an entire team, especially this soon after, this being their first game after this tragedy, how they're going to respond. It can go in any direction. They can respond and decide collectively that they're going to put on the performance of the season, and at the same time, it could be their worst performance of the season. That's a big, big question mark, because when you're dealing with that level of tragedy, People grieve differently, and we don't know exactly how this team is going to respond specifically to that situation, really because it's so fresh in everybody's mind on that team. That's a big question mark that I have, number one. What we do know about this team is offensively, they're very good. The pass attack with Dak Prescott right now is very, very good. It's about as good as we've seen from this Dallas offense in a very, very long time. The run game in Dallas is probably as good as we've seen in a very, very long time. What we know about this Cowboys team is at home in Jerry's world, which they're not tonight, they're elite. They show up at home, offensively speaking, almost every single time. Yes, I understand the last time we saw them at home against the Arizona Cardinals, they didn't show up. But the point of me saying this is because typically when they don't show up, the offense, that is, what situations are those? Those are typically on the road and on grass. And you might be listening to this thinking, well, they're on the road tonight. Yes, they are. But guess what? They're on the road in a dome-style environment, Allegiant Stadium, and there are going to be a load of Cowboys fans in the desert tonight. This is going to be a quasi-home game for the Dallas Cowboys. Because it's in a dome, in a controlled environment, these are the types of games where Dak and that offense really, really thrive. I think we're going to see a very productive Cowboys offense this evening in the pass game and in the run game. This is one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the NFL in that type of environment. We saw it just last night with the Detroit Lions. When you take the Lions and you put them on the road and you put them in a little bit more difficult of an environment, that offense is going to struggle. Same with the Dallas Cowboys, but that's not the environment that they're going to be in tonight. The total is sitting at 50.5. I mentioned to you guys that I have two different ways that I like this game. I think, and in my opinion, the best bet tonight is the Cowboys minus 3.5. I think that's the best bet on the board. The reason why I say that, in a normal situation, and I want to get back to the question marks in just a second. In a normal situation, I'd be hesitant laying the 3.5 with this Cowboys defense. However, there are some significant reinforcements coming into Dallas tonight. We all know they acquired Quinnen Williams. That's going to beef up that defensive line. They acquired Logan Wilson. This is probably the worst linebacking corps in the entire NFL prior to acquiring Logan Wilson. DeMario Overshown, probably the number one playmaker on the entire defense, is now back and healthy. His first game back this entire season after destroying his knee last year. This kid Overshown is one of the top playmakers at the linebacker position in the entire NFL. He's going to be playing, as I mentioned. They're getting Shavon Ravel back for his first NFL game tonight. It remains to be seen exactly how much he's going to be playing. He's a first-round talent at cornerback. They just drafted him in this previous draft. He also tore an ACL last season. This is his first game back. As I mentioned, I'm not sure exactly how much he's going to be playing, but this is a terrible secondary. He should get some reps tonight. Where I'm going with this is this Cowboys defense has been abysmal all season. But when you add in 3 or 4 new pieces to a defense, it can go one of two ways. It can take them some time to gel, or you could see this defense really get an uptick in production starting tonight. And going up against this Vegas Raiders offense, I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if you see this Dallas defense really put in a huge performance. So when I'm factoring all these things in, I think given that this game is in a dome, given the tragedy, given that I expect this offense to perform, adding all these new weapons on defense, in my opinion, as I mentioned, the best bet on the board for tonight is laying the 3.5 points with the Dallas Cowboys. The second way you can look at this game and dissect it is you can take the Cowboys on the money line, I think that's sitting at somewhere in the neighborhood of minus 190 right now. And you can parlay that, an alternate total parlay, with over 42.5 points. That's at even money right now. So I'm looking at these two different wagers, and I'm saying you can take the Cowboys at minus 3.5. You're going to lay a little bit of juice there. It's probably minus 105 to minus 108 range, depending on where you shop around right now. So it's a little bit more expensive. Or you can parlay taking just the Cowboys straight up if you don't have 100% confidence that they're going to cover the 3.5. And as I mentioned, in a typical situation, if this Cowboys defense didn't have 3 or 4 new, basically starters coming into that defense, I'd be very concerned about laying 3.5. And I still am a little bit concerned about laying 3.5. You can take them straight up on the money line. I don't think the Cowboys lose this game tonight. But then you have to package that with the over 42.5 to get it to even money. And if you're taking the over 42.5, you're going to need some help from the Vegas offense. And I know this Cowboys defense is abysmal. They've been terrible all season. But let's just say you're getting 28 points from the Cowboys. I think that's a conservative number. I think that's safe to assume they're going to get somewhere 27, 28 points. You're going to need 15 points, 14, 15 points, 16 points to get that Vegas support to hit that over. That's the two ways that I'm dissecting this game. If you're forcing me right now to make a pick between those two bets, I'm laying the 3.5 points. I think this defense does just enough. I'm not expecting this defense to be a world beater. I'm not expecting them to all of a sudden be one of the top 20 units even in the NFL. But I think they do just enough and improve just enough for this Cowboys offense to give us enough support to cover the 3.5 points on the road at Vegas. As I mentioned, if the Cowboys are putting up 27-28, which I do expect, in order for that 3.5 not to cover, Vegas is going to have to put up somewhere in the neighborhood of 25. So when I'm breaking both of these wagers down, give me the Cowboys laying the 3.5 points. I think we get an improved performance from their defense. Ultimately, I think this ends up being a blowout in Vegas on Monday night. I think the Cowboys win this game somewhere in the neighborhood of 28-17, 28-14, something like that. You might even hit both wagers, the minus 3.5 and the parlay that I mentioned. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if that happens. Take the Cowboys tonight, lay the 3.5. If you even want to take the money line parlay that I suggested, I wouldn't hate you for doing it. I like it myself as well. This Cowboys team is going to win tonight. They're going to show up for Marshawn Nealand. The Mario Overshone is going to make a name for himself on Monday night in his return, and I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if we see a beast performance from Quinnen Williams in his first game as a Dallas Cowboy. Guys, I talked about it over the weekend. I have not had a losing Saturday on this show. I have not had a losing Sunday on this show. I'm winning in football, whether it's college or NFL, each and every single week. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Tonight, we are cashing more tickets on the Cowboys. Enjoy the video, guys. I'll be back tomorrow.